Hey guys, Ashley Elizabeth here with AHM Artistry, and today I am doing my full-on beat face, full foundation, basically my go-to when I want a nice, smooth, flawless canvas. And I want to chit-chat a little bit while I do this, just to make it a little more interesting. You guys can get to know me a little bit. If you recognize this eye look, then you are a true subscriber and you watched this video on Tuesday where I do the Jeffree Star rose gold kind of look. And if you'd like to see how I like to do my face and my foundation and slay it, then you know what to do. You keep watching. So prepping your skin is the most important part of your foundation routine. So I'm going to be starting off with the Jan Marini face cream. If you didn't know, I am in the middle of changing my whole skincare regimen. I'll be doing an update video in a little bit, just showing my results and my progress. So making sure that you find a moisturizer that's really good for your skin type is key to not getting flaky, dryness, anything like that. And do not forget to moisturize your little neck as well. And then I'm going to be going on with the Jan Marini eye cream as well, just a little tiny bit right on your ring finger because it is the most delicate finger. And then just pat and gently massage it in to the eye area. Again, eye cream is your best friend to help prevent creasing, flaking, and just all over grossness under the eye. Once my face is all prepped and nourished and ready to begin, then I go in with my Too Faced Hangover RX primer. I love this primer for most foundations. It works very well with for my dry skin, just evens everything out and just makes the foundation stick nicely. And I love doing it with the Amazonian Clay foundation. That's what I'm going to be using today. So I just take a little bit and gently massage it into the skin. So you guys, I have been on YouTube now for a year. I've had a couple of you guys ask me if I can do a Q&A video, kind of like a little get to know me, and I would love to if that's something that you guys would like to see. If there's any specific questions that you have for me that I can answer, go ahead and drop a comment and we will do a little chit chat question, and answers a video. Really quickly, around my nose, I really make sure it's nice and massaged in because I get super dry around my nose. So I want to make sure there's no flaky flakes. Next up, I'm going to be going in with the Tarte Amazonian Clay foundation. I am in the shade light neutral, and I say because I am starting to get a little bit more color because it is very hot here in SoCal and it just happens. So for now, I'm in the shade light neutral, but I'm going to have to darken it up a little bit as the months progress. And I just dot this all over my face, except for the under eye area. I will let my concealer do that work. And I even bring it onto the neck, which helps when the shade is not exactly accurate right now. You won't notice as much. And then I love this Wet n Wild foundation brush. If you saw my review on these brushes, I have loved it with this foundation. It is awesome. And I kind of do a little patting motion while moving around the product and getting it to really adhere to my skin and give a really pretty finish. So let's chat a little bit. It has been a year, like I said, now on YouTube. I am freaking obsessed with it. If you haven't been able to tell, I did not think that I was going to be so obsessed with it when I first started, but I just love it. I just love sharing my knowledge with you guys. It gives me something that I can kind of call my own. I am a stay-at-home mom most of the time. I do have a side business where I do hair and makeup for special events and like weddings and everything. But I only take a few jobs a month because my main priority is to stay home with her, and doing the YouTube and filming videos and doing social media stuff is a way to have the best of both worlds, to keep my toes in the beauty industry a lot more, but not have to leave home and leave my little one. So I love that. So with this foundation, if you feel like you need a little bit more coverage, you can layer it a little bit without it getting weird on you. So I tend to need a little tiny bit more on my cheeks, but then after that I will let the concealer do the rest. So just pat it in. You see, it gives that really pretty finish. Now, since my nose is kind of my challenging area, I take a dampened beauty blender and I just go over that area to make sure there's not too much product in there, and anywhere else that I feel, like it needs it. And it'll soak up any kind of excess situation. Speaking of the situation, who has been watching the new Jersey Shore? My husband and I missed a few weeks of it, and then we like totally binge watched it, and I'm hooked again. It is like such terrible TV, but I can't look away. And it's really like funny and interesting to see like where they've been for 5 years and everything that's going on. So yeah, have any of you guys been watching it? Because it's crazy. And I also am freaking behind and need to watch the season finale of Walking Dead because it is crazy. That's one of my favorite shows, and I need to catch up. Now I'm gonna go in with the Tarte Shape Tape right under the eyes, just, you know, right there, you know, just a little bit, just to also give that highlighting effect. I don't have that bad of dark circles, but I just like that lifted look. And I'm getting like freaking down to the bottom of the barrel with this concealer. It is time to repurchase. I take it right around the nose because everybody tends to get red there throughout the day. Right down the center, up through the top, through the forest, under the hill, to grandmother's house we go. And then right here, nothing new here, right? You guys have all seen everybody just cover their whole face in Shape Tape. That's not new information. And then what I do, this is probably new information. I take my Urban Decay All Nighter concealer and I do a couple dots in there. This is for the days that I want that like full on coverage. For some reason, this just really helps with any kind of darkness I might have. Right now, because it's winter, my under eyes are a little more excessively dry. If I just use the concealer, it kind of makes, you know, a weird fine line situation. And then I'm going in with the Real Techniques concealer sponge and tapping that out. And I love these Real Techniques concealer sponges. By the way, I just picked them up at TJ Maxx. There was like a really good little 4-pack special. I love the size of this one better than the Beauty Blender concealer one because the Beauty Blender concealer sponge is just too small. It's just weird and itty bitty tiny. And this one is a perfect in-between size of a regular Beauty Blender and the concealer one. Now the key with under eyes, especially if you have fine lines, is really making sure that concealer is blended out. You want to really just keep going until it's all smushed in because you don't want any excess product. That's why I like the Shape Tape, is because it's very easy on the fine lines around the eyes. It's not too crazy, at least for me in my experience. Some of them that I used in the past just rolled and were gross or drying. And then I'll just go ahead and take the same sponge and blend everything else out. Sometimes I do my eye makeup before my foundation, sometimes I don't. It depends with what I'm working with, what kind of look I'm doing. Now, I have some discoloration on my entire face, as you saw at the beginning, but especially around the upper lip, I have some slight discoloration, and I noticed that the Urban Decay All Nighter concealer does a really good job of canceling that out. So I'll just put a couple little dots right on my mustache. Cute look, huh? And just blend that out. This will help prevent that like kind of weird 5 o'clock shadow foundation look that we can get sometimes. Not all concealers help with that. Some can make it a little bit worse, and also like it dries down a lot. So that's why I don't like to put it everywhere on my face right now, because my skin's just so dry. Now that my concealer is everywhere I want it to be, I'm going to take my sponge and just press it underneath my eyes, make sure that everything's blended still, nothing's getting weird. Something that may seem very odd, but for you dry skin gals out there, this is what works for me for this foundation, this Tarte Amazonian Clay. If I just go in with powder right now, I will be so dry in about a half an hour, it will just be bad. So I take the Urban Decay Chill Setting Spray. For some reason I can't use the All Nighter, and I obviously can't use Deslift, but the Chill Setting Spray is perfect for my dry, dehydrated skin. I'm gonna spray my face with this, then I'll go in with powder. So I know it's a little bit different than most people do, but this is what I found makes it last the longest on my dry skin and still look flawless and beautiful and not too powdery. And then I freaking dry that puppy with whatever thing I have in hand. And then I take my sponge and I press everything down again. Just because I hate that shifted, you know, netted look. Have you guys ever used a setting spray before that you put it, everything looks great, you put on the spray and then it just does this shifty on top of the skin look and your foundation does not look like it's a part of you anymore? I freaking hate that. That is a problem that I have when I put setting spray on top of powder. So now it's kind of created like a barrier, and now I can lightly dust on some powder without it looking deserty and dry. But I do not bake. It is a rare occasion that you will see me bake, and that's usually summertime, oily, crazy situation. So I'm gonna take my Laura Mercier setting powder. I'm just gonna take this fluffy brush and lightly kind of pat it on, because I don't want to take away too much of that glow, but I also don't want my foundation to shift throughout the day either. So if you did it like this, you might touch your skin and you'll feel a slight bit of like, not sticky, but you know, a little bit of moisture. For me, that's okay. I don't want it to be like slick dry, that's not even a thing. I do need to make sure my under eyes stay, so I'm gonna take my Real Techniques brush, if I can find that this little Real Techniques brush. It's so cute, and I'm gonna lightly dust the under eyes. Now this I go in a little bit heavier, but not too much. Still not baking, but I just wanna make sure my concealer doesn't roll, you know, because that's gross. Now that I have a nice, flawless, ghost-like canvas, I can go in with my contouring products, bronzing products, all that fun stuff. I am obsessed with my Kat Von D Shade Light palette. I wish that I got it sooner. I got it, I think, around November or December of last year, and I've used a lot of contouring palettes and I love them and it's great, but this one just works so good for so many different skin tones. I do my contouring with this shade right here because it's nice and cool tone. Sometimes I will use this to bronze up, but we are going to be using something else today. And I use a nice little angled brush, and you know the drill, carving out the hollows of the cheeks. If you can get ready in a mirror like that has a couple different angles, I find that's best when you're doing contour. Obviously that's not something everybody can do, but if you can even get one of those mirrors that have the different edges, I get ready and I have my mirror and then my husband's mirror is on this side, and it's perfect for like just checking different angles and lighting. Even if you have your regular mirror and then like a little bit of a smaller one somewhere else, I find that helps a lot, especially when it comes to contouring. And that's why you'll see me looking up at my monitor a lot, because I'm looking from the mirror to the monitor, because it's just like different angles, different lighting and everything. I kind of smush my brush down a little bit, just right underneath the lips. Help the lips look a little bit fuller. Underneath my jawline, double chins be gone. Make sure to blend it down. See, this is another reason why too that I don't have to put all this crazy amount of setting powder on my skin, because I'm using contour powders and that kind of sets it too. So if you have any of that stickiness left, you can actually, you know, skip setting powder if you use a lot of contouring products. So that's something nobody ever talks about either, because you can take this little round brush, dip it into these shades, and then kind of carve out, and that acts as your setting powder also. And then I just kind of clean up with that and help with the brightness. Now I go in with my bronzing shade, and I have been obsessed with this Hard Candy Fox in a Box. If you guys saw my reviews on these being benefit dupes, oh my gosh, they are amazing. This is the shade Party Girl, and I'm going to take this Wet n Wild little rounded tipped brush, and I'm going to dip that, swirl it, do a little tap, and bronze up this bee right here. It just gives such a pretty glow. I hate the smell of this product, but I'm willing to look past it because of the result. But it kind of smells like Tootsie Rolls, which I totally hate. I don't know if you saw my video on it, but every box has a different smell. The blush is totally fine. I just hate this fake chocolate smell. But it's so pretty that I don't care. I mean, bronzing products are one of those things that it's so hard to find a perfect one for your skin tone. And I finally found her, you guys. So I just bronze up a little bit. I don't like my forehead to look dirty, so I just want it to be just dusted on, and then all around the hairline. I do contour my nose just a tiny bit. I don't like to get carried away, so I take this flat brush and slightly dip it into that shade Light contour shade, and just working into the nose a little bit. I do, fun fact about Ashley, I have two faces, so I'm totally two-faced. No, but really, I have, if you look here, from this angle, I have a very flat, you know, nose. If you look on this side, I have a really large hook. So, you know how that happened? Well, fun little Ashley was in 8th grade and I took capture the flag very, very seriously. So seriously that I bent my nose. I was running full speed at my best friend at the time, just powering through it, trying to get that flag, and we collided. My nose collided with her head and blood everywhere. It was bad. I passed out. I was spinning. It was actually pretty funny, like now that I remember it. And even at the time it was kind of funny how it happened, just because I was like too into it. I needed to chill. I needed to not be so into it. But yeah, so I passed out on the soccer field, and for like a second, I was more like a spin because it hit so hard. And then me and my friend walked down to the bathroom, unaccompanied, no teacher or anything. We just walked down there because it just looks like I have a bloody nose and it doesn't look like that dramatic. But in the bathroom, complaining about her headache, obviously, and I'm just like blood everywhere, just like, girl, help me out. And she's like, she looked at me and she's like, you need to go to the medic or whatever we had there. It was a very small school. And I was like, okay. She's like, don't even look in the mirror. Let's just go. It was right there. The bathroom was right next to the offices. And I remember I had like, I don't know, a rag or paper towel, something on me. And the girl that does like the nurse, she's like, you know, it was a small school, she kind of did everything, but she's like, let me see, take it down, it's probably not that bad. I took my cover down and she freaked out. She totally freaked out. No poker face or anything. She just like, oh my gosh, we gotta call your mom, we gotta call the ambulance. And I was like, oh my gosh, an ambulance is like, you know. So she calmed down and have to do an ambulance. So I'm sitting in the nurse's office, which I don't even know if I knew it existed until at that point. And I'm starting to freak out because everybody that's coming into the room to check on me is like freaking out. And my mom's on her way and I start hyperventilating, and that was my first panic attack. But long story, you know, short, I ended up going to the hospital with my mom. She drove me there because the bleeding stopped and everything. And they did x-rays and my nose was just bent as far as the x-ray could tell. I didn't have a break, so there was nothing that they could do except give me some pain medication to help with it and the swelling. My nose was so swollen. You couldn't even see anything. My nose was swollen so bad. And what can you do? It was pretty crazy. I ended up missing a backpacking trip that my family had planned for the next weekend. That weekend we were supposed to go to the Hollywood Bowl to see a concert, and I had to miss that. So that was like the worst part. I didn't even care that like I almost like my nose almost broke off. It was like the stuff that I had to miss was a super big bummer. But, or you will notice in certain angles, my nose is like totally different. I have 2 different noses and it's fine, whatever. I just think it's funny, and the story is like, I don't know, I just think it's one of the funniest nose breaking stories. It didn't break though. However, now that I'm older, once the swelling went down, I could feel on this side, there's a total like crack, like the bone is like this inside. So I have seen an x-ray and there is a crack in it. I guess it's a little deeper than a crack, but contouring my nose is really difficult because when you get up here to where the hook is, it shifts that way. So when I try to contour it, if I'm not very precise, it'll accentuate it. So this is just what I do. I just very lightly dust it on. But yeah, totally fun little story about me. I don't know. I just think that is like, that's my battle wound. That's my scar. It makes me who I am. And it tells you guys a little bit about me. And I just think it's funny. So I wanted to share that with you guys. So for my blush, I'm going to go in with the Fox in the Box also. This one is called Girl Next Door, and I really want to pick up that peach one that they have too. So next time I drop into Walmart, I will pick that up because it is so pretty. And I just swirl my little blush brush in it, and then I just paint it on. See, it just gives like such a pretty glow. And then if I want to clean up anything at all, I just take that big rounded brush that we first used. I don't add any more. I just dust anything that's a little too heavy away. Now we're gonna highlight, and we are almost done here. So I'm gonna go in with my Sigma Chroma Glow palette, which I have been obsessed with. So pretty, and since I have like the rose gold look going on, today I'm gonna be doing the Bedazzled shade right here mixed with the Ambrosia because it's a little too dark to just do the bedazzled on me. Let's pop it. And then I'm going to take Peaceful and do it right on the Cupid's bow. If I want a little more intensity, I'll go in with my finger and just beef it up a little bit. Really pretty. And then same thing with my nose. I mostly go in with my finger and then avoiding that little crook area. This kind of helps my hook to not be so obvious if I place it in the right way. And then same thing right on the tip of my nose. I don't even bother with this part because it's more pronounced. So I just kind of like to make that bridge that's right here, kind of give the illusion that it's more evened out. So when I look the two sides, it's not as obvious. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for sitting down with me today and watching my go-to Beat Face foundation routine. I thought it was only fair. I've put a lot of foundations under the microscope to see if they're good or not, and yet I hadn't done what I consider to be a good foundation video yet. So here it was, and I hope you enjoyed a little story time sesh. I hope that was entertaining for you because it was entertaining for me, and I like sitting down and talking to you guys, and I definitely don't do it enough. If I should be doing live videos, let me also know in the comments below. I know I've told you guys to leave me lots of comments and stuff today, but I want to chat with you guys. That is my point here, is to just grow this community, for everybody to be talking together, having a good time down in the comment section and on my other social media accounts and outlets and everything like that. But I hope that gave you a little insight on my face and why I like to use the products that I use and what my go-tos are, because I oftentimes film, you know, some of my basics off camera so it doesn't get redundant for you guys. So it was time for a dedicated video on my foundation routine. And another fun fact, what am I going to be doing now that I have the full glam beat face on? Well, I'm going to go get some quick dinner with the husband and the toddler, and then I'm going to put these PJs back on because I'm totally wearing PJs right now. This is my AFI shirt from high school. So thank you guys again so much for sitting down and watching this with me. If you haven't yet and you've stumbled upon this video, please go down and hit the little subscribe button because I would love to have you a part of this little family that we have growing. That's it. You guys have a great, lovely day.